Yo, what's up guys, and this is part 2 of What If Deku had a white flame quirk. So we're picking up right where we left off, where basically we're going to after the events of the USJ, where Deku is actually going to be getting in trouble because he interfered when Aizawa told him to go and stay safe. But that doesn't last long since other students defend him, saying he saved us and all of that. Oh yeah, and Shigaraki did not get away, so he's captured basically. Anyway, right now we're currently picking up a few weeks later, where after the whole USJ incident, everyone is forced to live in their dorms, which I never really found important, but it's a cool little fact I thought I would mention. But Izuku's adoptive foster parents, they would barely even care. When the heroes arrived telling them about this whole situation at the USJ, they were just like, how much will the medical bills cost? And then Aizawa just told them that barely any students got injured. The most injury someone got was a broken arm. Which, I don't know who I want to give that to. I guess Bakugo? No. Ida got a broken arm because all he can do is run at people. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, Izuku's foster parents kind of suck. But now, as they're going to the dorms, everyone is preparing for the events of the UA Sports Festival. And we're picking up with everyone training. Bakugo is doing his workout routine. I don't know what he does. Todoroki is practicing ice manipulation, I think. And Deku, he's going psycho. Like, he's turning his entire body into fire. He just figured out that he could fly using fire, like white flames. Which is honestly kind of cool. But he's not like fly, but like he can make fire wings for aesthetic. And he's working on a new move. He's trying to replicate Endeavor's prominence burst. Even though he hates him so much for abandoning him, he still wants to be better than Endeavor. But he is actually trying to get close to Todoroki. That way he can tell him, but things don't go as planned, because Todoroki, he's not really like in that talking mood stage in the current story we know and love. So Deku's attempts would be futile. But Deku would have been practicing his moves like crazy. Like for this one I call Fire White Burn, where he literally like just surrounds a 1 mile radius in fire. And the cool part about this is that he can protect his allies from the fire if he knows exactly where they are. If he doesn't, they're gonna get burned. But now we head to the UA Sports Festival, where Bakugo would end up giving his little speech, saying he's gonna destroy everyone, and that you're all just side characters, or whatever the heck he said. But we get into our first battle. Deku versus Shinso, the guy with the voice power. So what happens now is Shinso just says, must be nice being born with a good quirk like that. You don't have to work for anything. But Izuku, who's learned to be more observant in this timeline, he noticed from earlier matches, no, not earlier matches, one of his friends told him that when he was talking to him, his mind suddenly went blank. So Izuku kept note of it in his head, but basically, like, he tries his best not to respond, and he just, like, he uses his fire powers to boost himself, and he punches him square in the face with a fire punch, and that's his weakest flames, but still sent him crashing into a wall. And now we have Uraraka versus Bakugo, which we all know how that went if you watch the anime. But now we have Todoroki versus Deku, which this fight I've been wanting to cover for a while. This is what happens. Basically, when the battle starts, Izuku would try hitting him with the same move he did with Shinso, but Todoroki would block it with his ice, but Izuku's flames were so hot that they would melt straight through, and Todoroki would have to create an ice pillar to literally avoid being hit. And oh boy, this is a crazy fight, because after Todoroki realizes he can't win using his ice, he uses his fire side, which that's a pretty cool clash. The white and red fire clashing, that's pretty cool. But Endeavor would shout from the stands like in the original story, "Good, Todoroki, embrace my genetics and bring honor back to the Fire Nation." Kidding. But yeah, but still, Endeavor would say all that, and Todoroki would hesitate, actually. Just enough time for Izuku to blitz him. Completely, breaking, he broke Todoroki's leg by accident, because of how hard he hit him. And then this fight is going to be Bakugo versus Izuku. When the battle starts, Bakugo would say, "I've been observing you. I know if I get close I won't win, so I'll just destroy you from the outside." And keep in mind, Izuku doesn't have high pain intolerance in this timeline, or high durability, so he has the durability of a normal human. Not even a mutant human, just a normal human. So Bakugo would try to keep his distance with far-ranged explosions, but eventually Izuku would decide, okay, enough playing, let's finish this. He creates a firewall, forcing Bakugo back, or else Bakugo was gonna get burned like that scar on his shoulder I mentioned in the first book. Not book part, but Izuku would just keep pushing Bakugo back with fire until he's forced out of the ring. But that wasn't enough for Deku. Oh no, he's out for blood, because remember, he's just like Bakugo in this timeline. So once Bakugo's out of the ring, he flies towards him with his white fire wings, which is how he's gonna be flying from now on. But he does that, and he hits him with a fire punch, completely knocking Bakugo into 3 different walls, taking him out completely. He's knocked out, and Izuku would get crowned the winner of the UA Sports Festival. And now we're heading over to a few weeks later, after the 4th Sports Festival. And the events that preceded were that everyone would do their room tours, and Deku's, it's pretty cool. It has band pictures everywhere, and a whole bunch of other crap. But now the events that precede are pretty dark. Basically, we head to the forced training camp arc with all that, and everyone so when everyone was heading there, they were discussing who was the strongest, and Deku knew he's the strongest. He could take everybody out, burn them to a crisp here if he wants to. But everyone heads to the forest training camp, where as soon as they were there, they'd get put to work. Bakugo with his water thing, Todoroki having to create ice in hot places, and Deku, they created a sub-zero environment for him. It's below zero. So it made it difficult for him to even try to create fire. But he still managed to create fire about 25% of his power. Like, that's how much the fire could deal. And 25%, I say that could take down, like, I think that could probably take down, like, the number 30 hero, maybe? Number 40? I don't know, but either way. Once everyone was done with that for the day, when it hits nighttime, the camp would get attacked by the villains. Dabi would set the forest ablaze. Izuku, seeing this, would immediately rush towards the source, since, I forgot to mention, one of his abilities in this timeline is heat detection. Like, he can detect small amounts of heat, and this was a high amount. So he heads towards the source, creating firewalls to protect him. And basically, so when he finds Dabi, they both do some clashing, and then, Deku and Dabi's flames clash, and Deku's flames are clearly hotter, but Dabi is smarter. So he had some of his villain friends sneak up behind Izuku, who would end up using his fog power, which he acquired, like I mentioned in the first part. Go check that out, by the way. But he would end up using his fog power to make it more difficult for them to see, where he would take out the villains who were distracting him, but by then Dabi was already gone. But Izuku felt like that felt familiar. He would push it aside and he would head towards the rest of the incidents, where this is where it gets kinda dark. Basically, since Izuku was busy fighting Dabi, Aizawa, he's bad. He got injured bad. And this is kind of a difficult decision to make for the story, but yeah, Todoroki, Bakugo's dead. Like, when Bakugo gets taken, the villains are more aggressive. When he tries to fight back, they kill him. Izuku was enraged by this, but Kurogiri, who wasn't captured, teleports away, but not before Izuku got through the portal, where he would literally, the second he saw Kurogiri, he would go ape crap. Like, he would start burning the place down, not caring about casualties. That would be until the symbol of peace, All Might, arrives. No, All for One. The symbol of villainy, All for One, arrives through one of Kurogiri's portals. And with that, we wrap up part 2. And part 3 should be dropping in about 2 days. But remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned in for the next one.